Good morning, my dear friends and everyone else who's there. I'm just going to hold up my little friend here, my little new toy for a little moment and see if the Facebook people will finally pick up a different view to start the video off. It is me, Sylvia, and I'm live here from beautiful Eastbourne by the sea. The rainstorm has stopped just for a moment, and it's nice and quiet outside. Good morning, Alex, Kent. How lovely to see you here. How lovely that you are with me this morning. And, good morning. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, so if you could possibly write it out to me so I can actually pronounce it, that'd be lovely. Morning, Bear. Oh, wonderful that you're here with me. Extra special, wonderful. Yes. It's lovely that I'm not alone. Oh, good grief. And Martin Stott is here as well. Good morning, Martin. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed indeed that there are people who are standing with me, standing beside me, standing behind me, and supporting me in what I do. And that's really quite a wonderful thing. Hello, Actuality Possibility. That's an awesome name. That's an awesome name. The parents were foresightful and they came up with a good one there. Morning, Julie. My dear friends. Great. Yeah, so I have my usual problem this morning of having to type a title into this thing. And I literally have literally no idea what I'm going to say. I don't know if this is ever going to change, if I'm going to change that. And so I can tell people the week as coming up to it, oh, we're going to do this amazing thing to do with dum-da-dum-da-dum for Sunday Live and get more viewers. Who knows? Wow. Good morning, Sasanti from Malaysia. That's fantastic. Hello, my darling. Welcome. Welcome with all my heart, everybody. Everybody is here right now, and those in time and space at a future date. Yes, that's wonderful. So, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do today? Good morning, Lorna. Thank you for being here with me. That we're here together, and we have a common intention. We all want to make the world a better place for ourselves, for each other, for our friends and our family. We want to lead happier lives. We don't want to get all frustrated and depressed and crazy with the stress of our times. We want to find good, awesome solutions to all manner of problems. And I think what's also important here is we don't just want to find solutions to problems. We actually want to go forward and create something. To create something nice, something enjoyable, something that's fun and that enriches lives rather than takes away from them. Good morning, Marianne. Hello to Germany. And yeah, so my partner and I, we have created something together. This is a little happy object, little energy object that stands about. I'm just going to turn it around a little bit if I can. Little energy object that stands about in the room and brings sort of fun and joy and happiness to the environment because it was made with a lot of love and a lot of attention to detail and with that intention of being sort of a little ball of happy energy around it. And that's sort of a very simple thing, really, to say that we've created this object and here it is. We have created reality, you know. Oh, thank you, actually, Possibility. Thank you. You love it. I love it too. It's quite magical. I had a strange thing with it as I was looking at it and I was sort of turning it around. And every time you turn it, you get kind of a different picture, a different image with different colors and shapes. And I thought this is like having a little art gallery that you can just, instead of hanging 30, 40 different pictures on the wall on the theme of an octopus garden, you can see so many different pictures, all different ones. And they're kind of psychedelic. And I think that's kind of nice. Yeah. So I start with that, when we, ah, thank you, Susanti. So I made the octopus garden and I made the resin object, and Martin made the bottom part on the lathe. So this is kind of a um, joint object. Good morning, Lightscriber. Great name. Yes, into that. The oh, thank you. Love that object and tells a story. Yeah, it's actually quite good fun. I'm just going to put Lorna up here. Love that object. It tells a story. It's kind of interesting because when you're holding it in your hand and you are that kind of person, I mean, you need to be that kind of person, your consciousness kind of gets drawn into it. It sort of sucks you in as you discover all these little things in there. There's all sorts going on in there that you can't really see on photographs properly. And there's bubbles and little jewels and little sparkles and all sorts of things going on in there. It sort of draws you in and draws you out of everyday stress for a change, which is also such a nice thing. And I notice that when my glance falls upon it, it'll just make me smile. But yeah, so what I wanted to say here was that when we talk about creating reality, what do we think that is? What do we consider that to be? I think that a lot of people think in very grandiose terms, creating reality, creating a new society, creating a new world for humanity. And that's kind of super overwhelming, I think. But we can create reality in all sorts of ways. I mean, this is a pretty sort of kind of advanced thing to make an object that you stand on the kitchen table. But you could put a bunch of flowers that you've arranged on the kitchen table. That's the same thing. Or you could, I don't know, put some pretty stones together and something happy, like a little sculpture of an animal or something, that will make you smile when you look at it. And that's creating reality in many ways. And I have always said this, I always thought this. We human beings don't really create anything. We just sort of play Lego with what God has given us. No scientist can create a cell or even the most simplest cells. They can't. They just can't. The things are too complicated. At the very best, they can sort of move objects around, like with Lego bricks. And this is it, really. This is how we create reality. And it's really not as difficult as it seems to be. It's just a really nice thing that we can do. Take existing objects and rearrange them so they suit us better, or they make us smile instead of cry. And that is the big aim, of course, to be happier and to live brighter. I did an interview with our dear friend Thornton Streeter, or rather one of my little chats. They're not really interviews, they're just little chats, the other night. And this was quite harrowing because Thornton lives off grid and he only has solar panels and a small diesel generator. Plus, there was a massive fire that nearly burnt his house down, and by some magic, the house remained standing. But the whole area is obviously still rebuilding, and the internet connection was terrible. So I might broadcast this or might not. I'll leave that up to you what you think I should do. It is still a very, very interesting talk that we had. And he talked a lot about the light inside people. And this is a metaphor that I haven't personally used much, but it is really, really a good way to say that, that we all have this light inside. But what we need is that it burns more brightly, that it catches fire, that it burns more powerfully, so that we just shine brighter. And that is what I mean when I say we need to be happier. This is what I mean when I say that our happiness matters, that this light inside shining is super important. I mean, really super important. And that literally anything we can do to make our own light shine a little bit brighter, or somebody else's light shine a little bit brighter, that is a good thing to do. That is a positive thing to do. That is a, yeah. You could nearly get religious here, but of course, as you know, I'm not going to. Just shine bright, the light shining brighter. I just like that as a metaphor. I thought that was wonderful. Let me know in the comments whether you think I should broadcast Thornton's interview in spite of the technical difficulties, because, well, we talked about a lot of things in that hour. And even though it was sometimes sort of coming in and out, these are the days in which we live, isn't it? Okay, guys. Yeah. So what else do I want to share with you today, or want to give you, or something that we can kind of do together here today to make all of our lights shine a little bit more brightly? That's such a lovely thing. Oh, good morning, Clive. Good morning. So, I don't know, perhaps I can just say to you that I welcome you, that I'm glad that you are here, that your attention is incredibly precious to me and to everyone, that your attention, your ability to look at someone or something and connect with that someone or something, to validate its existence through your, shine your light upon it. Now, there we go. That's quite nice. I like that. That when you turn towards someone or something, this light that you have inside falls upon them. And that is a blessing. And people don't really know what a blessing that is. So when you see an old person, or you used to back in the day when you could go into shops, and we are old enough to remember this, you see an old person go into a shop, and if the checkout assistant is nice and kindly and not too stressed with their own problems and their own stresses of life, and the checkout assistant actually manages to smile at this old person for a moment and look them in the eye and give them that attention, give them that light, you can see how the old person responds to that, and how they're literally soaking that in, and how it makes them stronger, happier, and renews their own light, their own light of life, if you will. And this is something, this is a superpower that we human beings have. All of us have this attention, to give this attention, to give of our light, if you will, shine our light upon that creature. And I learned that works with animals, that works with all sorts of animals. It works, so it must be something that's very structural. This is not just in the imagination of human beings where there can be so many crazy things, you know. It's just something that would that is just magical. And when we realize this, and some people never realize this, they go through their whole life and they don't realize the power that they have to give attention to others, and the effect that has on not just the person they're giving that attention to, but on themselves as they see the results of this, feel the results of that, feel the gratitude or the effect. And yeah, that's the word, the effect they can have on other people. This absolute, yeah, this was my This was my instinct too, to not worry about the technical problems with it and broadcast it and allow people to listen to it and either, work through it or to say, no, I can't be asked, this is technically not good enough, and to turn off, to give people that, opportunity to choose for themselves if they want to hear it or not. So great. Yeah, thank you for the encouragement. I will broadcast this interview on the on my YouTube channel. And then guys, you can just listen in and hear what just came to mind on the day, which might, stimulate a spark somewhere or a thought. And yeah, for me this morning, this with this light thing, that we actually have this living light inside of us, and whatever we can do to encourage that light to shine brighter, to feed it, to bring it forth, is the right way forward, is the only right way forward. And the same with other people. And really, regardless of what they've been up to, you could say that the more horrible people are, the more they need that light inside to come back to them. To that light needs to come back. Because how are they gonna stop being horrible or damaging or painful to other people? I mean, it's without the light inside, it's just not possible. You cannot run a positive human incarnation where you're contributing something without that light inside. You need that. So yeah, that was very nice, sort of a thought connection that happened when I was chatting to Thornton. Morning, Ilka. Hello. Nice that you're here with me. So I had to write something on the in the title this morning, and what came to my mind was the comfort zone. The dear comfort zone. People are always saying, you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to suffer. You need to do stuff you don't like. You need to challenge yourself. You need to make yourself miserable. You need to hurt yourself so you get used to more pain. Let's get the big whip out and you out of your comfort zone and drive you forward into happiness. And I always laugh at that when I don't rant and rave about it. Depends on my state at the day. See, I think that the so-called comfort zone, the status quo, isn't that at all. It's not a comfort zone. It's not comfortable in that zone. It's not as comfortable as it could be, and that our real comfort zone we haven't reached yet. We're not there yet. There's still work to be done to get into what I would call a real comfort zone. Like, I have a nice little garden, to be sure, but it's a bit small. It's too small to be, for me, really comfortable in that garden. I'd like a bigger garden where I can go for a walk and look at the plants and get a little bit of exercise, perhaps. So I'm not in my comfort zone yet. You can apply that to your own circumstances. Yeah, I'm in a nice room here. That's nice. And the rain doesn't come in and I got some heating. That's great. But is it really my comfort zone? My comfort zone would be a lot bigger. It would be a lot bigger to be really comfortable for me, where I could really sort of expand my aura, my thing, and really sort of go, this room is just perfection in comfort. So the way I like to look at it, rather than driving you out of your status quo that you've worked hard to achieve, and that might be even a struggle to hold on to, instead of that, I'd like to propose to make ourselves a lot more comfortable. A lot more comfortable. That's a positive future orientation. That might bring a smile. That might bring a spark. That might bring ooh, yeah, I could be more comfortable. I could be more comfortable if I had a pool and a jacuzzi. Could be more comfortable, yeah. I could be more comfortable if I could get a bigger bed into this room, or I could be a lot more comfortable if I had a better central heating. You name it. Think of it in terms as getting into your own personal comfort zone instead of driving yourself into some hideous wilderness in the forlorn hope that something good will come of it. So, yeah, let us all move forward into our comfort zones where our lights within can shine brightly and there is this support for the light within on all the levels. That's really what I'm thinking of. A comfort zone in which it is easy to have your light be shining as best as it possibly can, which is really nice. Yeah, cool. Star Matrix shines that light, says Lorna. Yeah, that's of course very helpful, isn't it? It really is very helpful to become aware of our inner strengths and our what we can actually do, and get a little bit more realistic about our own skills and talents and gifts and star powers and our own sort of special things. I think that's really useful to know, isn't it? Um, what I'm thinking here is that if we don't know who we are, and I put it to all of us that we don't know that yet because we've done too much trauma digging and not enough star matrix stuff yet. So we don't know who we are, and what we think we are is way off the mark, way off the mark, way off the mark. So if you don't know who you are, you can't really construct a decent comfort zone for that being that you really are, which might lead to not being very comfortable in the zones that you've constructed for this other person, which you're not. Now, I'm sure this is one of those sentences that'll give people headaches, but I think the two, the comfort zone and who you are, has a lot to do with each other. We may have constructed I don't know, sort of lives for the people we thought we were. And if you are not entirely happy with your life, if it's not as comfortable yet as it could potentially be, then that may be because you didn't really quite realize who you really are. This is very possible. I see definitely a possibility of a connection there, which is quite fun. Oh, this is nice. The light scrubber says river smooth helps big time. I'm so pleased you've discovered that. I find River Smooth incredibly helpful too. It's a really groovy energy shielding method that really works so well and naturally. And the question that must arise is how many other things like that are there? I mean, this is just at the moment, as far as direct energy techniques, really doing something with the living energy body that has remarkable effects. As far as those go, there's really only the ones that we've sort of stumbled over accidentally. That just happened at some point, and it was like, oh, wow, this really works. This is cool. But there must be so much more interesting things we could be doing if only we knew more about our own living energy bodies, the metaphorical light within. You know, the light within is a nice metaphor, but it's too homogeneous overall to really think about this logically. So when I think of the living energy body or talk about it, I really do see this matrix that consists of interacting systems that do their own thing and they have their own purposes, do wonderful things. And there's a lot left to find. There's a lot left to find out. I mean, we've only just begun. It's amazing. It's just beautiful. Perhaps we can do sort of a star matrix moment here. Just take a deep breath in and out and just allow your mind to just Think about some really good energy experiences you've had in the last 3 months, in the last sort of 3 years, last 30 years if you're that old. And if you're one of these guys who doesn't know about energy or is just listening, think about just some good experiences you've had in the last 3 months, last 3 years. Just sort of allow your mind to slide through that and go, yeah, there's good things in my life. Life is interesting. It can be interesting. It can make you feel good. It can make you feel glad to be alive. And I think that's just a super, super nice thing to connect with. And it's especially in this time and with all the doom cocks crowing loudly everywhere. And because all the doomcocks are crowing so loudly, if you want to be heard, you've got to crow even harder and louder. And thus, some sort of an escalation begins of terrible future problems, predictions, fears, madness, really. It is incredibly important and incredibly useful to stay in touch with, you know, real world, real life, real experiences, things, real things, like breathing in and out and loving something and seeing the sky. It really is just of the essence to not get swept away in the stress rivers that surround us. And to practice creating reality a little, practice creating reality. I was starting out with this object here earlier, which is an exercise in creating reality. I had an idea of an octopus garden under sea like that, with a wooden stand, so that it can be there and displayed nicely. And then talked about it with Martin, and then we made it. And so now we have created reality. But it doesn't have to go that far, as I said. I mean, you create reality every time you do anything at all. You create reality when you hit a like button on a Facebook post. Because the person who sees that is going to get a little, ooh, somebody liked my post. It's just sad that technology such as Facebook is taking advantage of our good human nature in this way to, I don't know, to make money. There you go, to make money. It is a shame. It's a shame that so many things, political parties and factions, and they take advantage of our good nature, of our light inside, and our real desire to share that with others. It's a shame that they take advantage of our good human nature. Or perhaps in the future things might be slightly different, or they might not be. But in the meantime, we can still find ways to amuse ourselves, to be happy with each other, and to, learn more about the wonderful universe that we are so privileged to actually live in, if only for a time. All right, my dear, dear friends. So, what shall we do while we're here together? Oh, I don't know. I'm really not in a groove this morning for massive meditations or energy exercises or anything like that. I just I'm just gonna like you to know that you have light inside. Everybody does. That that's the best thing about you. Not your university diplomas, not your free swimming certificate from middle school, not the amount of money you've got in a bank. The most wonderful and precious thing is the light inside, and your greatest superpower is to decide where you put your attention. It is your attention that's the most precious thing about you. It's your attention that Google and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook are fighting for. They're not fighting for your money, they're fighting for your attention. Every book, every movie that is published, every advertisement, every business in the world, everybody is fighting for your attention. And your ability as a human being to decide where you're going to place your attention is your greatest superpower. That is where, real free will and human actualization comes in. I used to do dog behavior, and we used to have dogs where the owners would swear they were deaf. The dog's deaf. So I had a packet of crisps in the office, and I used to just, and the dog would be like, whoosh. And I'm like, no, the dog's not deaf. Just learn to stop paying attention to you. That's all. It's completely immune to the sound of your voice, no matter at which volume you're screaming at it. So people are different, see. If I told you that I've got this crisp packet and I want you to keep your attention on the object straight in front of you, or just look at this thing here. Just keep your attention on that and ignore the sound. You can just do that. You can just do that. We can just do that. We can direct our attention with the precision of a laser scalpel if we want. But to start with sort of that, possibly with that idea of creating a better life for ourselves, we can direct our attention on those things which will nourish the light within, as Thornton says, or as I say, to make our energy body happier and brighter and function better. And learn to do that. That's a groovy thing. I think that's a very powerful thing. It's probably the 101 of reality creation, to understand that we have attention, and that which we place our attention on is going to, expand and help create our reality. If we're putting our attention on, I don't know, screaming crazy people on Twitter, that becomes our world. Wow. God, I'm glad I never got into that. Ooh. Yeah, So, know that is your superpower, is attention. That it's precious and valuable, and all the tech giants are fighting over it. Everybody's fighting for your attention. Everything, every living thing, because it's so fucking precious. It's so precious. That light inside that comes through in that attention, that energy that you have to give, that is so unique, and it's your own. There's no one else who has that exact energy that you do. So I thought I'll leave us with that thought, that you personally are incredibly precious, that you are a light-filled being, has the power to give that light or withhold it, conversely. Just really think about that. Think of yourself not as this old meat sack, but this multidimensional being that is living light and on a journey of exploration. When the physical body dies, that living light goes on its way, which is something that I personally believe in. But I cannot prove it as yet, so I don't talk about it much. My dear, dear people, Is there something that you'd like to say to me? Then please leave me a comment or say something in the chat. I absolutely love to see your comments, and I love to respond to them too. And, get you go faster alone, but you travel better together. I need the input. I need your comments to think of things that I would not have thought of if it hadn't been for you, for your comment, for your post, for your input. Absolutely 100%. This is a fact. You're so much more valuable and precious, really, not just to me, but to so many other people than you could ever know. Wow. Living and dead. That's saying something and a half. Ah, perhaps in my quest to ah, perhaps in my quest to try and be properly scientific, I've gone a little bit too far the other way, and I'm not quite esoteric enough. There's so many things that I often would like to say about souls and afterlives and all sorts of things. And I always bite it back because I don't want to sound unreasonable or unscientific. That's something that I might like to work on a little. Ilka says, love you and thank you for your wonderful and magical live streams. Ah, thank you, Ilka, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for saying those words. Oh, love you. What have we got here? Bear Collins, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Little light. Magnificent light. Glorious light. The eternal flame inside. Ooh. The light fountain. I love that. Ah. Mariana says, thank you so much for the magical input you gave me this morning. Have a wonderful Sunday. Oh, thank you very much, dear Mariana. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing, really, being a human being. I always thought that. And it's kind of a shame what people sometimes do with it, but what can you say? I love it. I love it. And the light within is, let's see what actual possibility. I can think about who I'm better with your comfort zone concept. That's a very easy way to talk about something that's usually too abstract. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I like this forward movement, moving into your comfort zone. You might have thought you were in one, but actually it's not that comfortable if you really, if you're really honest about it, it's not that comfortable. It's got all sorts of discomforts in there. So this forward movement into a future comfort zone where you can really be comfortable is something that I just love. I love that. Really do. So much better than somebody whipping you out of the Garden of Eden with a great big barbed wire whip and oh, God, no. No, no, don't like that. I like something where your mind, body, and spirit all at the same time say, yes, that's excellent. Let's do it. Beautiful, brilliant, fantastic idea. Let's go. And mind, body, and spirit are all together, all moving forward in the same direction. That's my favorite kind of thing. That's my favorite kind of thing. If you're going to get the whips out to make anybody do anything, we're already down the wrong path, in my opinion. Somebody says, my comfort zone is my prison. No, it isn't. You haven't reached your comfort zone yet. Go forward into a really comfortable comfort zone where you're really comfortable. Okay? Be really comfortable. Need to think about that, what that means to be really, really comfortable. Okay, guys, we've been here for 40 minutes. Thank you so much for your time, for your precious attention, which we have discussed is the most powerful, precious thing that you have. And I feel truly privileged and grateful that on this day you shared that with me and to help me be shiny and bright and feel happy. Thank you so much. Um, if you got any suggestions for themes or topics that I could discuss on the Sunday Live shows, um, please leave them in the comments or send them to me directly. I'd love to know, and I'm happy to talk about all things energy in because there's really energy is, well, light, it's love, it's joy, absolute joy. So have a wonderful Sunday and a wonderful rest of the week. And I shall see you next week, 10 o'clock for Sunday Live. Lots and lots of love to you. Stay safe and seek happiness. Bye for now.